Left-hand side one for me, just again, a little bit bigger stance, a little bit sort of squatty. We sort of get the same sort of height there at address, roughly, and the camera a bit different. There you go. Just a bit wide and a bit squatty in terms of your setup. And as you start swinging the golf club back, you can see your knees and your sort of hips slide in there, even before that club's gone back much at all. I mean, 2 or 3 feet, and you're sort of sliding. As you go back there now, quite a bit of a slide there with the lower half, and that takes sort of off the centre. Whereas this one here now, as you go back, there's a bit more stability with that lower half here. You're able to rotate your right hip and get a nice full shoulder turn with the club back up here. Good club at the top of the backswing, and a much more stable right side, okay? Let's go back to the setup in terms of the grip as well. We said about your left hand, your right thumb just sort of covering your left thumb there. If we look at this one here, your right hand's a bit more kind of, see how your fingers are kind of more visible underneath, because your right hand's a bit more underneath, and that's going to cause you to whip the hand over. So your left hand is more in the fingers, as is your right hand. So you're basically gripping the club across the finger joints there, thumbs on top, whereas before you sort of had a little bit round this way with your left and right hand up in the palm there, and then gripping it underneath, so you tend to roll your arm there a bit too much, and that could cause you to smother it low left as well. So getting a bit more on top there with those fingers will certainly help. But yeah, try and avoid that sort of swaying back with the legs. It's going to give it more stability. I think you said you felt your legs were moving, so therefore you maybe try to stop the moving by just locking in position and get your legs tight. And again, if we get too tense and tight any body part, the only time the golf swing should have tension is basically on the backswing there, in that left shoulder and down the left of the body, where you've coiled up and created tension, which you then release to the golf ball with a nice sort of swish of the club and a finish position up on the left side there. The issue you get when you hit the golf sort of scuttles off low left that way is from the top here now, rather than the arms are just falling down and releasing this way, they get a bit thrown at the golf ball. Now a lot of time that comes from when the legs are quite wide, the body therefore can't really sort of keep up with the club, so you feel how much power, you've swayed laterally anyway, and now you've got to try and throw that club out to the golf ball, and in that sort of attempt at throwing the club wide, you catch the back end of the club off the heel and it shoots low left. So it's getting that sensation from here now, the arms are just sort of falling down here into this nice and sort of unwinding, and then from there we can start putting the power on as we swish that club. You can see your left hand now sort of been overtaken or disappearing behind your right forearm. It's not that you're rolling your arms, you're just turning your body and releasing the club correctly, rather than sort of blocking it this way or trying to throw it out to target that way. So it results in a much more freer, fuller follow-through position, okay? Right foot sort of collapsing with there, probably because of the shoes, I would say. Exactly. If you had golf on, a bit more stability, but the overall movement there, you're more onto your left side, your hip and your shoulders are fully rotated. Yeah, just the foot hasn't quite come through as much, because I say the stability in that shoe is probably not as strong as a golf shoe. But if we can get that, say, slightly narrow and softer with your setup in terms of your knees, not squatting and pushing out so much, and then just feel more of a sort of rotation there with the lower half as you go back, so you're staying on top of the ball more rather than your head's moving sort of, even before that club goes back in it, there's a bit of rocking back and forth. Once you move back this way, you're then going to move back to the golf ball. If the legs are locked out and solid, you can't get back to the golf ball. So in some ways your brain might think, oh, I'm further from the ball now, I've got to throw for it, and then you lunge out for that golf ball, okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent, good stuff.